think that there's a possibility that we could be looking at DeBoer wondering if he's the long-term answer at coach for the Tide?
I'm starting to feel like Alabama, I can't believe I'm saying this, Craig, is a sleeper. Fourth easiest schedule in the SEC this year. Ryan Williams is back. I think the friendly, these early season games against Florida State and Wisconsin, that is friendly for Alabama.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
So you're going to have the suck uniforms the entire season, but 3 games will give you with the best uniform. Those are the issues I have. The powder blues out for the Chargers. That should be every game. The Miami Dolphins old uniforms that they throw it back to, that should be your uniform, not the trash you wear now. The Patriots, you ever see them throw back with a little football player in the helmet? It is beautiful, but let's keep the trash uniform.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Things you have to look at is what the team has the following day, especially when it comes to bullpen usage. A lot of the things I like to attack is you see these extra inning games, these games get drawn out, these bullpens get worn, or if someone gets shelled the first 3 innings and they got to go to the pen, early, that's a good spot to kind of hop in the middle of the next game. You got a tired bullpen, right? You try and take advantage there, maybe with an over, maybe with the money line. We're getting plus money on a favorite at that point.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
His run in Salt Lake is over, but obviously the intimidation of a guy that's been around that long in Gundy and in this guy, if you look at their cases, they're very similar. It's been going on forever, right? And it's time for a change, I think, in Stillwater and in Salt Lake. I got to be honest with you. And believe me, if they lose again, they're going to get rid of him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Dude, that's Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show.
Welcome back to another episode of The Smylie Show, and this week it is a road show of sorts. I'm in Ponte Vedra, Florida. A little work scouting trip of sorts. Excited to get to work here. Smiley's in an airport lounge in San Francisco, fresh off a fun week of work out in Tahoe, man. I think we should start right there do you have a little highlight summary of us? We saw you catching passes once again. Might should have laid out for that catch on that highlight. That's 2 years in a row of catching passes from Josh Allen, if I have that correct.
This is 100% true. Caught a pass from Josh Allen. What else I do? I shot some hoops. Never with the Curry bros. They kind of dominate the tee box when they start shooting there. So I kind of let them do their thing. And they're showmen when they start shooting the hoops. But man, it's turned into one of my favorite weeks of the year. You get to interact with so many incredible people, and just these are the people that I used to watch on TV, still watch on TV. I just have a lot of respect for, so many of these people that play in this event. And, I think the more times I do this event, the more times I, have the opportunity to bring these people up on the desk. Kira and I, it seems like we just continue to get to know these people better and better. And the interviews just feel like they're becoming, more natural because we know them better. So another great year. Highlights. I mean, I was on the desk all day at 17, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So the rest of the golf course, vaguely know the golf course. I just know what happens at the 17th hole, which is a lot of chaos, I'll say.
Yeah, it's so funny to me that we live in this golf nerd world centered around pro tours for the most part. I get more texts this year than any other week of hey, you out in Tahoe with Smylie? I got a text from our boy. Remember Ryan Shell, who played Pacific Grove with us barefoot? He said, hey, I'm going to be at the event this week.
Really?
Are you out there? I was like, are you in Scotland? He's like, no, Tahoe. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, people seem to love this thing. And it's a great reminder of the way that golf can expand beyond sometimes our narrow pro world. That's a really cool event for that reason.
It's a really hard field to get into too. If you're somebody that wants to be in the field. I'm getting texts from Shane Beamer, the coach at South Carolina. He's dying to be in this field, and he's like, you could point to plenty of other people that you could say that Shane deserves to be in over. I'm like, hey, here's the thing: if you don't start Lenore Sellers in Baton Rouge this year, I can maybe pull a string or two and get you in the field. But it's a really tough field to get into, and once you are there, all these people, the competitors, they go to all the events. They're definitely very appreciative of the opportunity to play, and it's a little different, like a lot of PGA Tour players, they don't go to pro-am parties, but there's a karaoke party that happens the night before the first round, and all the guys go up there and sing. It's a lot of fun. Like the Kelsey brothers sang, which was hilarious. I was kind of hoping T Swift was going to show up with Travis. Maybe she was in Tahoe, but she was never at any of the events, so that was a little sad as a Swiftie. But
we need to get T Swift on that desk with you and Kira, and maybe we'll watch her kind of try to hit an iron in there to that par 3 or throw you a pass or something.
That's right.
We need her on the set. I will say that it just cracks me up that no matter where you go in golf, field composition criteria, always a scandal. PGA Tour, shrinking number of cards, sponsor exemptions. Now we got Shane Beamer trying to get into this event. I had a conversation earlier with someone who this whole Creator Classic that is being put on, a lot of people are getting snubbed out of that. They're creating a separate one for the people who didn't make it into that. It's just fields aren't big enough, Smylie, or maybe they're too big.
I don't know. I'm tired of debating field size.
Fair enough. And we are going to get on to some pro tour golf here. We're going to do it with the help of our friends at Ahead. Ahead builds and manages digital platforms that power the most successful organizations in the world. Their consultative approach, unmatched engineering, and innovative solutions combine to accelerate the impact of technology in every client they serve. Ahead's long-standing relationships are built on outcomes and experience with both their clients and technology partners. You can learn more at ahead.com. And Smylie, this episode, it's going to be a look ahead in a number of different ways. The back end of this episode, the majority of this episode is your conversation with your colleague at NBC and Golf Channel, Brandel Chamblee, a deep dive into the Open at Royal Portrush. Really looking forward to sharing that conversation with you all. It's also an open look ahead in another way, because the winner this week at the Scottish Open, Chris Goddard, into the Open Championship by virtue of this win. Not his first win on tour, but his first win that was not an opposite field event. And Smylie, I pulled up my phone, pulled up Instagram on Saturday night heading into this final round at the Scottish, and I saw a post from GolfBet that was collaborated on by the PGA Tour, and it was setting up this final round grouping of Rory McIlroy and Chris Goddard as David versus Goliath. Which, by the way, I'd love to get Chris's thoughts on his tour. He's a card-carrying member. He's being painted as a young boy with a slingshot. I got a good laugh out of that. But in terms of player profiles, I mean, this is Goliath versus Goliath in a driving sense. I mean, Chris Goddard, if you look at his stat profile, I mean, they were both top 5 in driving all week long. And if you just look at Chris Goddard to date, or at least to this season on the PGA Tour, well above average in driving distance, well below average on driving accuracy, slightly above average in approach and around the green, and below average in putting. But this week, 4th in the field in strokes gained off the tee and 4th in strokes gained putting, and gets it done. You're going to share a great anecdote about Chris, playing with Chris, and that interview with Brandel. You got to look out for that one. But can you just talk about his player profile, what got him to tour, and whether this can be a launching pad for him to really start winning a lot on the PGA Tour and beyond?
Oh, maybe not winning a lot, but definitely I would say contending a little bit more than he has to this point in his career. He's been a player that's missed a lot of cuts, but he's also, the cuts that he has made, he's not finishing towards the back half. Like, for example, this year, he's finished in between 12th and 26th 10 times. I just thought that was fascinating, because clearly he's been very close to, getting in contention, but maybe having a couple bad holes, or maybe it's that one round on the weekend. But clearly, this was the week he finally broke through. His game, extremely talented player. I mean, I played with this kid in Puerto Rico. We're going to talk about it in the Brandel interview that's coming up. But he's a player that I played with, and I'm like, my goodness. I mean, the ball flight on his driver is so solid. It's low, it's hot, it carries a long way. So yes, a huge plus distance guy, but also, I think he's learned a lot and matured as a player, because I was thinking when I was playing with him at Puerto Rico that he should have won that golf tournament as an amateur. If I was just in his ear the whole time, I just felt like, of course, the raw talent was there, but just maybe the strategy part of the game, and
Interesting.
And when to take shots, when to be aggressive. Like there wasn't a flag that he couldn't get to, but it just seemed, this is obviously many years ago and his game has evolved since then, but it seems like he's kind of matured as a player and kind of figuring out his game and how he can kind of improve in areas like you're talking about. Maybe the accuracy thing off the tee is something that he wants to work on. But I always think that with him, it's kind of wild. I had dinner with him at the U.S. Open this year.
Oh, really?
Just George Savaricas is like, hey, do you want to go eat with Goddard? And I was like, yeah, sure. I haven't eaten with Goddard in a long time. I'll talk to him at the golf course, but not anything dinner because, these guys are U.S. Open week. They got their own plans, but just randomly we get set up, and he felt like he was really close. And it's not shocking to see that 4 weeks later, he's winning on the PGA Tour in a big event. And just the fact, like you kind of teed this thing up with Rory McIlroy going up against him, I'm not surprised that he had no back down in his game, because he is a player that plays with confidence and swag. And it was really cool to see him get the job done, and the emotion at the 18th green with the interview with Amanda, especially for like a really kind of like, Jersey boy.
Tough
Good to see a little emotion
with the gold necklace. You're like, oh, what's going on here? Yeah,
sure.
that was super cool. I wonder what you make of, if you go look at like his Data Golf page specifically this year, and you run down that putting section. There's a lot of red there, right? But this week obviously finds something on the greens, but it is a unique surface.
Montreal has a new coach. Like, I might be the new coach in Montreal in 2 weeks. Like, they have a new coach all the time, and they always have, oh yeah, we're playing a new system. They're like, they have a bunch of like 20-year-old players and kids on the pitch. Anyone that's good, they sell and they trade for money all the time. Like, it's a real disaster. But they hit a new low tonight, getting eliminated by the Forge.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
That is the idea. It really is for in-game live. Have you said it? The home team, who's a double-digit or close to it anyway, favorite, and get off to a bad start and actually have them trailing by 5, 6, 7 to the point where you get it at pick'em. And I don't know how many times. I'd like to know a stat of how many times a team that's been favored by double digits, trailed by double digits, and actually won the game. I bet it's a lot.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
You've got issues up and down here. The bullpen is falling apart, to put it nicely. And have you seen the schedule for the Yankees for the rest of the month of July here? We have Seattle, then we have the Cubs, then you have Atlanta, then you have Toronto again in Toronto. That really didn't go all that well this week. And then you have Philadelphia and Tampa. Good luck to the Yankees in July here.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I want to talk about Rory and a few others before we get to Brandel, but just you mentioned something about consistency, and I saw this earlier in the week. How about Xander Schauffele makes his 68th straight cut, longest active streak on tour, and the 6th longest in tour history? I mean, that to me is, we talk a lot about Scotty's not only cut making consistency, but finishing, top 20, top 10 every single week. Xander to do that through coming back from the injury, I think pretty impressive. Pretty amazing. Tiger Woods top of the list, 142 events.
What do you think's harder to do, what he's doing, or miss the amount of cuts that I missed in a row for a good player?
Let's embrace debate. If you're watching on YouTube, let's hear in the comments. They're equally impressive, many people are saying. So I had to get that one in on Xander. Getting back to Rory a little bit. Obviously plays well here, past champion here. I want to talk a little bit about his golf this week, but I think we kind of know. I mean, first of all, let's start with this. And there's some quotes he had about the Ryder Cup that I found particularly interesting, and I want to get your gauge on whether or not he's playing mind games. But we saw Rory complete the career Grand Slam. We had this big conversation in Augusta about, does this take the pressure off? Do we see a whole different version of Rory on the back end of this? And then it almost seemed like he was wearing it more. He had this sort of this exhaustion. They seemed like, the whole thing at the PGA with the failed test on the driver, understandably upset. Didn't play great at Oakmont. Didn't seem to enjoy the challenge there as much. Had some comments of frustration there. Do you think getting overseas, closer to home, an Irish Open, that we're finally seeing a guy that is feeling the relaxation of completing the career Grand Slam and maybe getting some of the joy back and being around the game?
Oh, I think so. I mean, it definitely was a bit burnout, I think, which is understandable after winning the Masters and all of these expectations of us, like wanting him just to go right back to winning and not having a chance to enjoy it. So some people, mentally and emotionally, we don't know what he went through the last 10 years to win a major championship. And so certainly we're not going to judge, what's happened over the last 3 or 4 months with Rory and the media and just his desire of wanting to play professional golf at the level that he knows he wants to play at. But it's got to be hard too for him every time he tees up. He wants to be able to go out there and think that he can win a golf tournament, and mentally, what that takes as a golfer. And so when you don't have that mental drive, it can be tough because you really have to rely heavily on your physical skills. And if those are a little bit off, these guys are too good. You're not going to go out and rip off wins unless you're firing on both sides of the game.
Last year at the Scottish Open, Rory was asked about the possibility of a Ryder Cup playing captain. Said he was skeptical it could be done in the modern era. He's asked again on Friday, and Rory said, "I definitely think the U.S. team is better with Keegan playing than not playing. I definitely think he's one of the best 12 American players right now. It's going to be an interesting couple months to see how that all shakes out." Genuine or mind games? Where do you shake out on this?
Well, I think he's always fairly honest when it comes to his quotes, and it's hard
also,
not to agree with him.
Boston common teammate, so he would never do something to his fellow ball frog.
Listen, the PGA of America, I think, has put Keegan Bradley in a really tough position. And when you get that call to be the Ryder Cup captain, you can't say no, right? Like, very few people have ever said no. Tiger Woods probably be one of the few players to ever say no to being the Ryder Cup captain. So it's tough for a guy that's, still playing at a very high level, that, clearly he is one of the best American players that should be on this team, and is now being, put in a position to, have to make a really tough call.
Yeah, without a doubt. I just found that interesting. I'm sure he's being sincere. I'm halfway joking, but it is kind of funny just to see both sides weigh in. And then I saw another quote this week about Billy Foster, first week on the bag with Colin Morikawa. And Colin, unfortunately, misses the cut this week, but they're going to go at it again at the Open Championship at Portrush. And Billy was saying, if he asked me to caddy for the Ryder Cup, I'd have to say no. It'd be like, I think Billy's a Leeds fan. He was like, it'd be like scoring a hat trick for Manchester United against Leeds. Like, that's just truly amazing stuff from a guy's
they didn't have a good
guy.
week. They missed the cut. Morikawa, he's one of the few players of the top end guys to miss the cut this week. When you're kind of going down the board to see there was a lot to like of the leaderboard of some players that had some good weeks. Maybe they didn't win the golf tournament, but like Victor Hovland, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, 3 players that come to mind who were right around that top 10. That Ludwig Oberg, another player. These 4 players I would say are that upper echelon of talent that you'd like to see, have a good week, which they did, heading into the Open Championship.
tied atop that leaderboard, tied for second alongside Rory McIlroy. The guy's been playing exceptionally well on the DP World Tour this year. In fact, outside of Rory McIlroy and Tyrrell Hatton, who do not play full-time golf on the DP World Tour, but by virtue of their play in other events and majors are the first two names on the Race to Dubai list, Marco Ping. What do we of what
Wait,
you saw?
What's he at?
He is third on that list. List is Rory McIlroy, Tyrrell Hatton, and Marco Ping is the third on the Race to Dubai points list. And by virtue of that, he is on the broadcast. Trevor Immelman specific was saying he moves the ball. He's got a ton of speed. And just in looking at DP World Tour leaderboards this entire season, his name these popped up there a lot. Of course, that's why he's third on this points list.
Did he play college golf or no?
He turned you know what? I'm not going to take a gander at this right now because I do not know. And I'm researching and speaking at the same time, which is not the greatest way to do a podcast. So I do not believe he did.
I don't think he did either.
Yeah. But Marco Ping, just name to remember, name to kind of put a little pin in that and just put a ping in that.
Yeah, driving distance way up there.
I think he's a Mizuno guy. Like, how is Marco Ping not sponsored by Ping? That feels like a huge miss.
So it's not Pinge, it's Ping.
Or Ping? They were saying Ping on the broadcast. Ping?
I don't know.
Pinge? Marco Pinge?
I'm not sure.
I say, you crank that Soldier Boy, right? You Darvish back on the mound. Haven't seen this guy in a minute right now. Yeah, man, crank it, man. Get it going up. Hit the high. Yeah, let's go. Crank that Soldier Boy up here. Yep. Yeah, I mean, come on, man. That was big back then. Where were you? Senior high school? Or maybe even in grade school? Then?
Bar mitzvah slate. In the bar mitzvah slate each and every weekend. The young Benny Steve was out there hitting it.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Do they practice in a public park? And Farrell and Lodge said, no, they have a little facility, but it's open to the public. No, it's a public park. Like, it basically, like, there's like kids playing basketball, like, yeah, no, it's bad. I looked, I'm like, dear God, like, I thought, I'm like, man, I bet a lot of money on these guys. I can't believe this is where they practice. Like, yeah.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
Obviously, he didn't do great in the last two majors, and we're going home here. We're going to Northern Ireland, Royal Portage. This is Rory's the reason why we're going here. Got off to a rough start, throwing his tee shot out of bounds back in 2019. I think he'll be ready. Not yet ready to call him the winner. I still have a couple of days before I do that, but it is a home game for him. And as you saw, based on this weekend, he is playing well.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
I would be looking to get him in dynasty or keeper leagues. If I'm out of a league and I'm looking to rebuild for the next years ahead, that's where I'm looking. Yuri Perez is a special young pitcher that we're going to be talking about in that Paul Skeens, in that Tariq Skubal, in that grouping of guys. I think he can be that good. He's only 22 years old. He's the boy. So you're getting a situation here where Yuri Perez eventually is going to grow into that man of a pitcher.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
We're gonna put a ping in that as well. A pinge. We'll put a ping or a pinge in that. We'll come back to it. It's late. It's late here. You're in an airplane lounge. We're doing the best we can. We're still bringing you golf talk. It's just very uninformed, weird golf talk. Here's where we're going next. Your conversation with Brandel Chamblee. You're en route to Ireland. Brandel will be over there as well. Got some great thoughts on that. Here's how we're going to get you over there with the help of our friends at Shipsticks. And you're running out of time. The last day to enter the Shipsticks Dream Ireland Golf Giveaway Sweepstakes July 16th, 2025 by midnight, I assume Eastern time. So you need to get on it, okay? And here's the deal. 3 lucky winners will receive an all-expenses-paid trip for 2 to the island of Ireland, where they'll play 6 world-class courses, including Royal Portrush, of course, hosting the 2025 Open Championship. We'll put a link to those sweepstakes in the YouTube and podcast description. The itinerary, the dates are October 8th through 15th, 2025. There will be 3 grand prize winners, and you can bring a +1. You're going to play Royal Portrush, Portmarnock, Royal County Down, Castle Rock, Ballyliffin, and Port Stewart. July 16th, 2025. Don't forget, you're going to hate to miss this one.
Yeah, if that doesn't get you over the line, all the stuff you just said, then I got nothing for you.
It's the last time we can help you. We gave you 3 heads up. The link's right down there. Go check it out. And thanks to the good friends at Chipsticks for creating this opportunity and also supporting the show. There you have it.
If that doesn't get you over the line, just hearing an Ireland golf trip, I think you probably need to go to your podcast search bar and type in like a tennis podcast, because you're not in the right place.
Yeah. By the way, Yannick Sinner beats Carlos Alcaraz. Tough.
You know,
you see
it's
the
funny
that
that
double bagel the day before.
You know, Francie, I didn't see that, but a double bagel 6-0-6-0. That was a tough match to watch.
Scene.
You know, Fran is the first person to like bring up who's playing in tennis and what the score is. Like, I don't even have to evoke the question. She's just like, oh, you see who's playing semifinals between blah 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 blah. I'm like, hold on, I'm supposed to tell you that. Like, I'm the sports guy, but she's like very into like
she's a tennis
yeah.
gal. Good for her.
Well, but she didn't play tennis. I don't know. I just thought it was interesting. Like, I think Wimbledon is similar to like the Masters. And it just like brings out like the non, diehards or non-fans of the sport. They just tune in for that 1 week a year.
Yeah, great. There's a great tweet. I think Fred Ridley was there for the final today, and Claire Rogers had a great tweet that was like, Fred Ridley sitting up in the box. My grass is better looking than the All England court.
That's good.
Really,
I think she likes the people watching too. Like when they pan to the crowd, because it's a to-do when you show up. You got to wear the nice outfit. And my favorite part about Wimbledon is this year that I've noticed is that they keep popping these champagne bottles during points, and they have to keep stopping and say, stop popping champagne bottles. And it kind of makes me thirsty every time they do it. It's like, man, I wish I was at Wimbledon drinking champagne.
It seems like the best hang. And I think Ludwig was over there. Thomas Dietrich I saw there, a number of other guys.
That's right.
Tommy Fleetwood.
Yeah.
It seems like a great hang. You get to dress up. You get to have a little strawberries and cream. You get to drink like unlimited champagne, hang out with all these posh socialites. Although I did see on the Sky Sports broadcast, apparently whoever was hosting that kept asking Andre Agassi like about these celebrities. And he like in the middle of the broadcast, like, stop asking me about these people. I'm here to talk about tennis. I don't want to talk about celebrities anymore.
I love that. Hardo.
Let me ask you this. Last hypothetical, and then I promise we'll get you to Brandel. Would you rather make it to a Wimbledon final and lose, get double bageled, or if you're on the men's side, triple bageled, or would you just not like to make it there at all?
Give me the double bagel.
Bagel it is.
I had no idea who the chick was. I just knew that she was an American, but I thought she handled herself really well in the interview after, and she made me a fan of she just had some hard matches leading up to it, and that chick was a robot. Swastik, she was just absolutely whatever her name is. Yeah,
she's good. She's good at tennis. Yeah,
dude. Well, oh my gosh, she was a robot out there.
Dude, her backhand's unreal.
How about me?
Are
Sam?
We a tennis pod now?
But I just try to send people over to a tennis pod, and we just turn into a tennis pod.
We are a tennis pod. Don't go to your podcast search bar. Where this is the Smylie Show on tennis. And shout out to you, by the way, Amanda Anisimova, good sport. You'll bounce back. Shout out to you, Iga, as well. Congrats on the win. And here's Brandel Chamblee on the Open Championship with Smylie Kaufman. Hope you make it over there safely, Smylie. See you later, bud.
Me too. See you.
New to casinos and not sure what to play? Well, try blackjack first. It has a lower house advantage compared to other table games, making it especially player-friendly. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
Time for the Blue Jays to really make another addition at the deadline. They just got Max Scherzer back. Can they get another pitcher to help out with the pitching staff, which I still think is their biggest issue? They're looking to be in a good spot right now.
And also, Tom, like just the evolution of handicapping, right? Early in the season, like, I don't want to take this Blue Jays lineup. Like, it's really bad. Now, the past couple weeks, like, every day I'm looking at the Blue Jays going like, ooh, team total, RBI chances, guys that weren't household names at the beginning of the year.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Scrounge out a couple of quarters from under the couch to go trade for somebody who would actually make some money. I don't think that he would actually do that. That's not in Hal's style the last couple of years, especially in season. I saw they signed that Heimer Candelario, who the Reds released. That's more their style, going the discount aisle as opposed to trading for someone who's actually having a huge year like Suarez.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
They're still trying to throw Dalton Knecht's name in trades, and I don't even know if he's viewed as a positive asset still.
And that's a crazy thing. Dalton Knecht, if you look at FanDuel, Dalton Knecht 20-plus points at plus 120. He's giving you no indication that he's that right there. I mean, Kevin, I would be more likely if we knew we were going to get the minutes. Bronny James, 10-plus points at plus 118.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Dude, that's Smylie Kaufman for 61. Wow.
I'm Smylie Kaufman, and this is The Smylie Show. Do you get worried at all about St. Andrews just being able to defend itself against the world's best players now with power? You just played in 40-mile-an-hour winds. It's not exactly what these players might face the next Open there, but
for sure. I mean, I'm 62. I started to say I'm 62. I turned 63 the day I was playing there. So, the day after I turned 63, and I drove it 3 feet from the front of the green at 18. And then two putted for birdie. And so, yes, I mean, the golf course, I mean, and Paul McGinley and I have this debate back and forth. I don't know where you fall on this, Smylie. To me, it's like the only way, if you really want to make a difference between what's going on in the world of professional golf and everywhere else, you'd have to bifurcate the rules. That's it. You'd have to, if you really wanted to rein the ball back, you'd have to rein it back 30, 40 yards. I don't believe that this rollback that's going to come about here in the next few years is going to make that big a difference, because guys are coming out of college now and they're swinging 130, 135 miles an hour. And so to protect these designs, you'd have to bifurcate the rules. You'd have to have one set of rules for equipment for the pros and the rest for the rest of us. And that's it. And that's such a difficult thing to do. It's a very difficult subject to get your arms around and get through all the litigation and the pushback from everybody in the game.
We're in the bifurcation. Where do you kind of draw the line as far as when elite amateurs have to start playing that equipment? Because I think that's a cool part of seeing a Jackson Koivman play at the John Deere this past week and almost finish top 10, or Nick Dunlap winning at PGA West. Of course, you were on the call that week. Those players that are elite amateur players who are now playing professional events earlier in their careers and maybe in the past decades. That to me is where does the college game fit if you were going to bifurcate the game?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know, how do they do it in baseball? I mean, I don't know if you're a baseball fan.
Well, baseball, they got the metal bats in college and they go to the wooden bats in pros, and nobody really ever talks about it.
Do they have a difficult time making that transition?
They do not have a difficult time making that transition.
I don't think that they would have a difficult time making the transition.
At least it's not talked about.
Yeah, but it is different. So when I look at young players now, they swing with such reckless abandon, and you are far, far, far younger than I am. But nobody would have swung a golf club the way Bryson DeChambeau does when I was growing up. Because if you missed the center of the face by a millimeter, you paid a big penalty for it. If you hit it, this far out on the toe, you hit a duck hook. Well, nobody hits a duck hook anymore. And if you hit it this far, left of center, towards the heel, you hit this weak little worm burning slide. So it would cost you 30, 40 yards and 30, 40 yards of accuracy. But now, when I go out and I do speed training, if I still hit good shots, even though I hit them on the toe or hit them on the hill, they still go like crazy and they still go pretty straight. So nobody would have swung a club like Bryson DeChambeau, all out as hard as he could, speed training. I can't think of anybody that did that. So where do you draw the line? I don't know. These are difficult questions. There's no easy answer. When they've instituted this rollback of the ball, the reason I've always been against it is because I don't think it's going to make a bit of difference in the professional game. I think the kids coming out of college are going to not only be past the distance that they're supposedly going to lose, they're going to be past that by the time the rollback comes about, but they'll blow past the rollback. Yeah. And the only people that are going to really pay for it are recreational players. And literally they're going to pay for it literally and metaphorically. They're going to pay for it in distance and they're going to pay for it out of their pocket because professional golfers don't buy equipment.
No, they don't. And that's kind of the argument is that, Joe from Iowa is playing the same set of clubs that Scotty Scheffler's playing. And that's kind of the cool part about the game. Of course, Scotty Scheffler's clubs aren't going to be the ones that are off the rack, but it's the idea that you're playing the same equipment as the amateurs. And I think that's the cool thing about the game. But also I'm with you that the rollback, how much is it going to really change distance? When I was playing, this is back in 2016, which is close to 10 years ago, the bunkers that I would be worried about carrying were right around that 290. I felt pretty comfortable about carrying. Now I would say, and I don't even play professionally anymore, Brandel, and I say that a 305 bunker, 300 bunker is kind of what I see as like a comfortable carry now. And I haven't changed. There's nothing about me that has changed, but
you can carry it that far.
Yeah. Yeah,
wow.
I mean, this is when I hit in the middle of the face, Brandel. I did a fitting the other day. My club head speed was around 119.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I can still move it.
That is impressive.
Problem is, it's not always synced up. It's not synced up all the time, Brandel.
Yeah, that's elite speed. I mean, if you were an MLB pitcher, you're throwing mid 90s. I mean, that's elite.
Well,
I mean.
When I was on tour, I would say like driving distance stat, I was in the top 25 my rookie year. So I was definitely somebody who always hit it pretty hard.
Damn, that's really impressive. Speed, again, it was funny. My wife and I played in the TaylorMade Invitational a few years ago, and I don't know if this name rings a bell to you, Willie Wood.
Oh yeah, he's good friends with my dad, Willie.
Oh yeah, of course, I was friends with your dad. So. I was standing there talking to Willie Wood, and who I grew up playing with. He was amazing. One of the top 10 juniors of the 20th century. Amazing. And Billy Andrade walked up. And so I was talking to Willie. I was talking to Billy. I grew up with these guys. And Mark Brooks was there. Anyway, when we left, I was telling my wife, I go, that's what professional golfers used to look like. They looked like Mark Brooks, Billy Andrade, Willie Wood, and myself. They were 5'9" and 150 pounds. I said, now they're 6'2" and they were 185. I'm like, Tiger completely changed the game, in a way that it's never been changed before. He made it cool. The better athletes came, the bigger athletes came. Everybody's got fit. I mean, not that we weren't paying attention to what Gary Player did or even Greg Norman, but we weren't really. And once Tiger came along, and it became so important to have speed, it just changed the game.
It definitely has.
Yeah. And it's by the way, for the better, because when I tune into golf now, all I see are ripped athletes. That's it. Yeah. All I see are ripped athletes. And, it used to be when I'd walk down the range, I mean, half the players looked like plumbers who were just playing on the weekend, little portly guys with pot bellies and, 38-inch waist.
Everybody's friends too. You know, guys are still friends out on the PGA Tour now, but it's much more, hey, everybody's got their work to do, man. And they got 8 people on their team watching them, holding their hands through it every day.
Yeah, they do. It's a business. It's definitely a job you don't want to lose now. Not that it was a job you wanted to lose when I was playing, but, you know, when I was playing the tour, with the exception of a few players, I mean, if you had a good year, you could buy a really nice house in a gated community. Now you can buy the gated community, you know, and a private jet.
Private. Yeah, fly private too. I mean, how about the difference between these last 2 winners on the PGA Tour? You just kind of described Potgieter as the young up and coming bomber, hits at 190 mile ball speed, just about every other drive, leading the distance of the PGA Tour like 330, which is just stupid as a 20-year-old. And then you have 30 miles an hour difference in ball speed between him and Brian Campbell at 161. And people are honestly upset that someone like Brian Campbell can win on the PGA Tour. It honestly makes them angry that it's possible. They're like, they got to fix the PGA Tour because this isn't fair. But when you go look back at the last couple decades, Brian Campbell won often. You know, a Tim Clark mold, the David Toms. These are the type of players that everybody was trying to be, which is hit the ball in the fairway, hit a lot of greens, give yourself good birdie looks, and that's what Brian Campbell's game is. What's so wrong with that?
I saw his ball speed was 161 average, and you know, speed training, I could get it up to around 161, and I thought, that's unbelievable.
His run in Salt Lake is over, but you know, obviously the intimidation of a guy that's been around that long in Gundy and in this guy, if you look at their cases, they're very similar. It's been going on forever, right? And it's time for a change, I think, in Stillwater and in Salt Lake. I got to be honest with you. And believe me, if they lose again, they're going to get rid of him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
One that really sticks out to me the most, George, and he's having a fantastic season, is James Wood of the Washington Nationals. I mean, yes, Cal Raleigh's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's like a candidate for MVP of the American League. But every time I look up, George, James Wood is either getting 5 hits or being walked 4 times in a game. What a season for this guy.
And he's so young. Was he 22? So what a future this kid has ahead of him.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
You have a head coach in Jim Harbaugh that's proven he will cheat to win. He will win at the biggest stage and doesn't give a damn who cares or finds out, and he'll just move on. That's what I love about a coach. That's the type of coach that I want. Win at all costs. Now, also, at all costs means, like, how are we building this team? Because I actually thought Harbaugh would come in and say, okay, let me just see what the players on the roster is. We'll weed them out after a year, but there's a lot of talent. He built that foundation last year and still made the playoffs.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Online casino expansion in the U.S. is extremely slow, a lot slower than I think we all would have thought, 5 years ago as sports betting took off. But you're going to start to see, I think, next year, a few more states kind of trickle into this. On top of Maine, you had Illinois kind of talk about it. Governor J.B. Pritzker pitched it as an idea to help cut down the budget deficit. Of course, we've got a weird tax fallout there.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Live from has always been much watched TV, especially for me. When I finish a day, I always am turning on Live from, mainly because if it's you or Paulie or even Wags recreating a shot, I always feel like I learned something and have more information heading into the next day. It's just a good way to end the day for me. But how have you seen the show kind of evolve over the years when you have someone like Johnson completely changing, taking what we saw live and then trying to recreate it along with, different cast of characters that you had over the years?
Well, yeah. I mean, how would I say it's evolved? If people have become much more in tune with every aspect of the game, we got to dig deeper and harder to tell a better story. When I started doing live from 20 years ago, there was no social media. So almost everything you were talking about was brand new to the audience. So we really have to go even deeper, and so it helps to have a Wags out there in the field. We used to do some recreations, but now because there's so much data. I mean, I don't think I feel like, I do use data a lot, but I don't think data is the story. Data leads you to the story. So I'm not a big believer in just throwing out numbers without adding context and then on the back end explaining what the numbers mean.
Okay.
So, 20 years ago, you could just throw out data and nobody had ever seen it. Nobody knew it. They didn't know where you got it. There were hardly anybody else in the game that had that data. Now then everybody has the data. Everybody.
And it's great data. It's so nice for us as analysts to have.
It's wonderful. But, I feel like the perfect blend to me is between the way the U.S. does TV and the DP World Tour do TV. U.S. is very data-driven and DP is very story-driven. And I feel like the collision of those two is the best way to do it. And that's what I try to do with Live From. It's data leads you to a story. So tell the story with a little bit of data to set it up, but then tell the story. And so, the show has evolved as I'd say our audience has become far, far more informed. Our audience knows what happened. They don't only know what happened, they know all the data. So you got to really dig deep and to try to tell them why something happened. And that's the hardest part of the job. That's the part of the job that it's the same way I used to get up in the morning and hit golf balls at 5 a.m. to try to figure things out. I'm up in the morning on my computer early in the morning to try to figure something out. Like on the weekends at majors, they don't tee off till 2. I'm up 5, 6 a.m. in the morning, and those hours from 6 in the morning till 2 when they tee off.
Got one of these going.
Got them all going, grinding away, trying to figure out, because once the tournament starts, I'm too busy tracking the shots and trying to come up with something about that day. So I got to do my homework in the morning to get ready for what I think is going to happen and to get ready for, I call them breakdowns. So, during a 2-hour show, we like to have 2, 3, 4 different breakdowns. You can't just show highlights and come out and talk about it. It's like, hold on, let me just show you why Smylie Kaufman can swing 119 miles an hour. All right. Let me just dive into that, because 3 years ago, he was 114 miles an hour. Now he's 119 miles an hour. And that's the kind of stuff that's fun to dig into. It's also kind of, it's the part where the job gets controversial.
Yeah.
People are like, well, who are you to say why somebody does it?
And that is exactly what I'm about to ask you too, which is Tiger Woods, right? So Tiger Woods could do no wrong. He's arguably the best player to play the game, but in your chair, you have to find a way at times to be critical of one of the best to ever do it. So how challenging was that for you when you're deciding, having all of this data to lead you to a direction of, I don't like the directions he's going with this new swing coach. I don't know what year it was, but I know you've been critical of a swing change he's made in the past. I think it was, I can't remember what year it was or what coach, but how difficult was that for you to get to that point to be able to criticize Tiger?
So my first year at Golf Channel was 2004. So if you remember what was happening, Tiger Woods had played the greatest golf in the history of the game from 99 to 2002. Greatest golf that's ever been played. I mean, won 4 majors in a row, was in the middle of 142 cuts in a row, was winning by 12 and 15 and 11 and 8. And he decided to change that golf swing in late 2002, 2003. So when I started from the, and I would say this is why I likely got characterized as a Tiger hater for the earliest part of my TV career, which I never was and not am now, Tiger lover. In terms of his golf game, why is he changing his golf swing in 2004 is the question. And the golf swing was so different and the results were so different. It was, to me, and still remains, the most bizarre thing in the history of sports. You have the single most dominant, the single most consistent. Now, what do you want in any sport? You want to be consistent. You want to be dominant. He's the single most dominant and the single most consistent athlete in the history of sport. And he's changing the technique that made him consistent and dominant. It was and still is, the most bizarre thing in the history of sport to me. So 2004, 5, even though he's winning, he's still playing phenomenal golf. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in that period. Every single show, I would have to do 1 or 2 Tiger Woods breakdowns in the morning and the afternoon. I was doing some interview somewhere in there, 2009, 10, and I had, just for giggles, I was like, let me just count how many Tiger Woods breakdowns I've done, just off the top of my head. And I was about to go out to the show, and I was like, in no way am I exaggerating. I'm about to go do somewhere around my 5,000th Tiger Woods.
Oh my gosh. I thought you were going to say 500.
Nope, 5,000.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, in no way am I exaggerating. I'm about to go out, and every single time you do it, you're trying to say something you've never said before. You're trying to say it in a way you've never said anything before, and in a memorable way, and be accurate. And so that was the job. And now, it was easy because you could just literally put Tiger Woods chipping in his backyard and people were mesmerized.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's it. So yeah, it was very challenging to talk about an athlete who was both dominant, but also bizarrely willing to change the technique.
Here's a tip for my fellow golfers and gamers. Do you want to book a golf trip to Vegas? For the best weather, aim for spring and fall. But the best prices, aim for summer and winter. But if you're looking for that sweet spot, try June. You get the August prices without that scorching heat. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
The two guys that can do it all. It's
too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rhythm. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple 15.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
We have to leave you with this, Brandel. Give us your Open Championship pick, because this is going to be dropping Open Championships week. So I just want to hear who you think gets it done.
Well, look, if you're not picking Scotty Scheffler, I don't. Because again, he's so much better than everybody else. Anytime somebody asks me that question, I'm like, look, if you're going to pick somebody else, if you're going to pick Shane Lowry, okay, you got all your work in front of you. To tell me that he's more likely to win than Scotty Scheffler, to tell me Rory's more likely to win, or pick your player. At this point, the question is, who's most likely to challenge?
There you go. How about that? Who's most likely to challenge Scottie Scheffler? Let's go there.
I would go with Shane Lowry, and not just because he won there in 2019, but because he's doing all the other things that are unbelievably good, and he's playing the best golf of his life, going into a place where he won. Now he's arguably trying to defend there, but guess who's second in strokes gained approach this year? Shane Lowry.
And
guess who
drives
hits
straight.
it straight? Very straight. And you've got to drive it straight there. I mean, I don't know how much you've dove into that golf course. Were you on the ground? Were you there that year?
No, it'll be my first time working it this year, so I'm excited to go check it out.
I didn't know exactly when you started, but I figured it was right around there. But, you go back and look at that golf course, and off the fairway, huge mounds, lots.
I remember the dune mound situation. Yeah.
Mounds and dunes and thick rough, and you got to drive it straight there. So I would pick Shane Lowry to challenge him. But again, I mean, Scottie Scheffler right now, it's you look at Scottie Scheffler's 4 Opens. His worst finish in the 4 Opens he's played is 23rd. And you'd say, okay, not that great, but his average finish is 14th. I'll just give you this because I was doing this data. Who do you think is the greatest Open player since 1960? Like the greatest Open player?
Tom Watson.
Right. You'd say Tom Watson. So Tom Watson's average finish, and I would go from 75 to 89, in his prime, 15 times. His average finish was 17th. Okay. He won 5 times, but his average finish was 17th. Okay. Tiger Woods played from 95 to 2013, 17 Open championships. His average finish was 18th. Trevino, 69 to 87. He played 18 majors or 18 Opens. His average finish was 18th. Arnold Palmer, 60 to 1980, 15 Opens. His average finish was 18th. Ernie Els, 92 to 2012 when he won 21 times. His average finish was 18th. Jack Nicklaus, from 63 to 1981, in those 17 years, his average finish was 3rd.
What?
Was 3rd. Was 3rd.
It's so stupid. That's just stupid. That is dumb.
Right.
And you know what, Brandel? You know what's crazy about that is too? I think the Open Championship is the most unpredictable one because you could just get a bad draw and all of a sudden you don't have a chance to win that golf tournament. So the fact that over that course of a time that he had an average finish of 3rd place, that is, you can throw all the luck out the window. You can't get that many lucky draws.
He finished 2nd 7 times in that stretch. So my point is that Scottie's it's relatively early in his career. He's played 4 and his average finish is 14th. What I'm saying is, even when he plays bad, he's in the mix. And he's not played great at the Open yet. So, and I start to look at it. I know he was born in New Jersey, but are you where you were born or where you grew up? I call him a Texan. And I look at all the Texans that have won the Open, and I think there's, a correlation there. So, again, I got a lot of different ways to come at Scottie Scheffler as the favorite.
Definitely so. I'm looking forward to it. I look forward to seeing you there,
Who's your
Brandel.
favorite?
I would say that if I'm not taking Scottie, I have this weird feeling about Tommy Fleetwood, just with his precision off the tee and his iron game. And then the other player that kind of fits that same category. I still feel like Sepp Straka's had some good history at Open Championships. And he also, look at his stats, similar to Shane Lowry, both hit it straight, both hit it really good iron play. And we'll have to see on the draws because I think that'll have a lot to do with it.
Will you be on the call there at the Open?
Yeah, but I will. I'm looking forward to it. So I'm excited to see you there too.
Congratulations on the niche you've covered out in this game. Great for you.
Thank you, Brandel. Well, we appreciate you coming on, and of course, I don't want to take you away from dinner time over at Turnberry. So enjoy the rest of the trip, and see you in a short week, my man.
You got it, Smiley. Always
Thanks,
nice talking to you. Take care, buddy.